Hello, everyone.
Recording in progress.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Mary, Melanie, John, Leslie, Brandy. Got some more people joining. Happy Wednesday, guys. Thank you for spending your Wednesday evening here. I am praying my internet stays fast enough to do this, to present, share. It is like the past month been in and out. I was thinking about tonight. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done a Zoom. I probably should have just recorded something and sent it out, but we will do our best. Regardless, this is recorded. So if something happens, we lose connection in some sort of way, or you have to hop on and hop back off, or whatever it may be, it is recorded for you and it will be sent out. I have it set up to actually add to a folder that is going out at 8 o'clock. So it should come up pretty soon for you guys. So I'm gonna wait just one more minute. I don't like to wait a long time for people to hop on, but while we're waiting, if it is possible, if you will drop, let's say where you're from, how long you've been an agent, and if you have a specialty, so you're a cruise specialist, Japan specialist, if you have a specialty, drop it in the chat. I would love to see these just to have an idea as we get started. Feel free, camera on or off, totally up to you. And I'm just pumped that we are here and to be sharing all the things that I have learned. I think they are things that are going to be just really, really useful, not only right now in your business, but they're kind of like lifelong lead generation strategies as well as I know it. I guess social media could go away, but we're not counting on that anytime soon. All right, let's see. We have see some Ohio people. Okay. Cruises and all-inclusives for the most part. Awesome. Jessica, where are you from and how long have you been an agent? Don says Divine, Texas, a little over 2.5 months. Okay, pretty new. Jackie, I'm from Ohio, Disney and all-inclusives. Love that. Jackie, how long have you been an agent? Melanie, Asheville, Ohio, only since November. Okay, Disney cruise in Florida. Winter Haven, Florida. Yeah, Winter Haven. Agent for about 9 months, no specialty yet. Carrie, are you a Disney fan, being that close to the parks or Universal, I'm wondering? Jackie, 4 years. Okay. Jessica, Four Oaks, North Carolina, 2 years. Since January, Newton Falls, Ohio, another Ohio, and working on it. Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, Disney and Universal have been an agent since January. Okay. So we have a nice mix. A lot of newer, which is great. And then we have some seasoned people as well who can maybe share some stuff toward the end. So how this is basically going to roll tonight. I have the um, workshop I made on Canva. So I will be sharing my screen, which means I won't necessarily be able to monitor the chat. So I will monitor and catch up with the chat and questions and everything toward the end. Northern California 1 year cruise is all inclusive. Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. Um, and so if I miss something, I promise to go back to it. Or if we're in Q&A and I still haven't addressed it, feel free to come off mute, call me out, tag me, send me a private message, any of those things, and I will make sure that I answer all of your questions by the end. So without further ado, let's get started because once you get to know me, if you do not know me yet, you know I hate wasting time. I am all about productivity, time management, and so that's what we're going to do tonight. So this workshop, I'm planning on presenting for about 35, 40 minutes. It kind of depends on, um, if you guys have a lot of questions or not. There definitely will be questions for you at the end. And then let me see. I gotta move my stuff around here for you. And then I'm going to share how you can continue. No, I don't want to do presenter. That's not in full screen. Here we go. Can you guys still see my presentation? Do you see it full screen? Yes, Mary, you can. Okay, perfect. Fabulous. All right. So let's dive in. Lead generation for travel agents. What's working right now in 2025 with 3 proven strategies to get more clients and grow your business. So again, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Lindsay Dollinger. I live in Ohio. I will share that. I'm in Central Ohio. I'm a dog mama. I'm a world traveler, which I have had this intro for a really long time, and now that I'm working specifically with travelpreneurs and travel agents, it's really funny because I feel like we're all travelers, right, in some sort of way. But I'm a Disney adult. I am the podcast host of the Passports, Profits, and Pixie Dust podcast, which, if you're a podcast listener, I really hope you check it out. And even if you're not and you have a way to listen to a podcast, still please check it out because I give a ton of free value in there every week. I have on guest experts as well. And that I am continuing this conversation that we're having tonight. I started it last week on the show and I'm continuing it all month. I'm also a retreat host. I host retreats anywhere. Well, I've done them in Ohio, Northern Kentucky, and Florida, and lead generation expert. And the way I got started in business in 2016 was actually in network marketing. And I grew my business to the top less than 1% in my company after I grew other businesses to win trips and have generated over 6 figures of revenue in those businesses. And I did all this by honing in on lead generation strategies. I became a travel agent in 2019. And then I added in business coaching for women in 2020. And so I have pivoted a lot along the way, but I did a lot of productivity and time management with people to begin with, and then branding and social media strategy, and now really the lead gen. And when you signed up, you got a link to take my quiz. It's lindsaydellinger.com/quiz if you have not taken it yet. And I can drop that in the comments, or maybe someone can drop it in the comments while I'm chatting. If you haven't taken it yet, please do it because it complements us really nicely and it's going to show you which area of lead generation might be best for you to start focusing on. And it might not be one of the ones that we're talking about here tonight. The ones I'm talking about here, though, tonight are probably going to be what's going to work for, I would say, 90% of people with how the world is working and how marketing is working now. But when you take that quiz, you will get like a personalized road map with more tips along the way to kind of tailor toward what your personality gravitates to. So make sure you check that out. All right, lead generation. So lots of things that I hear. These are the three most common about specifically getting clients. One is that you're struggling to get consistent leads, like you don't know where your next new client or client is going to come from. You feel like social media isn't working for you and you're not sure, well, there's not sure where your next client is coming from. Please drop in the chat right now which of these three you resonate with the most before we move on. I will see if I can see. I don't know if I can see the chat. I don't think I can. But drop which of these three. Oh, here we go. Here's the chat. All right. So I'm seeing all. Okay. Social media isn't working. I'll drop the quiz link. That's the quiz. Anyone else? I feel like social media is not working. Also feel like Ohio specifically is very saturated with agents or people don't understand the value. Ooh, we're going to talk about value tonight. Brandy, all three. Okay, great. Well, let's dive in because we're going to solve that problem tonight. You're going to walk away with 3 proven strategies that are working right now. And here is the overview. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, you want to jot this down. We're going to talk about all 3. And I'll be honest with you, the way that I have built my business, not doing all 3 perfectly at once, but finding a nice blend of these 3 things so that I feel like my lead strategy is very balanced. So that I'm not putting all my eggs in the social media basket. They're not all in email and they're not all in relying on referrals and partnerships either. So these are the 3 that we're going to talk about. First of all, social media, because I saw a lot of people saying that, and that's the one I hear probably the most is about social media. Let's talk about engagement because the number one mistake that travel business owners make on social media is posting without an engagement strategy. So you've probably heard before, don't post and ghost. Has anyone ever heard that before? Don't post and ghost. So basically what that means is you don't put something up and then leave the platform, or don't put something up and then not interact with people who are commenting on it. Maybe you're not getting any comments on it, but you might not be getting any comments on it because you're not interacting with other people. So one of the things that the social media algorithms do, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, whatever, is they are going to push your content out to people that you're interacting with. So if you're not interacting with other people, we can't kind of expect other people to interact with us. It's almost like a give and a take sort of deal where you have to give more than you expect to get back. Another thing that I see a lot with social media when I'm looking at people's profiles, specifically Facebook, I guess, because a lot of people still tend to have their Facebooks private, which is fine, where, only your friends can see your things. But then I look at the number of friends you have, and maybe it's like 200, 300, 500. You don't have to do it now, but at some time, I think we're all connected over on Facebook. Go to my Facebook profile and check out how many connections I have. I think now I will say I got rid of some people around election season. Not gonna lie, I was pretty savage. I'm like, I'm not the person who's like, like muting you. Like we're done, right? But I had over 4,000. It might be like 3.9 thousand at this point. And we can talk through that if you want to sometime about like best practices for that. And I'll also be honest, I'm a teacher in my full-time job still. I do that. I am single. I don't have health insurance in another way. There's lots of reasons that I still do that as well. But I also have to be really careful what I post. And so for a very long time, I was that person with the 600 friends and not making public posts and things like that. So basically, I had to kind of change my posting strategy a little bit to put out things that were still showing people who I am and engaging people to still show who I am while filtering out some of the stuff that people might see and judge me for. So there is, I think, a sweet balance with that. But I do want to encourage you to make more public posts, make more connections with people, meaning send more friend requests and legitimately form relationships, which we're going to talk about. Um, and then, kind of have a plan where you're treating your social media. And again, you can look at mine. I still very much share a lot of really personal things, and I feel very connected to my friends and family. But it also is very much me building a brand and building a community around me. I view my Facebook more as like a community platform. And then every once in a while, I still do make posts where only certain groups of friends, where I've like made certain lists, can see it. And so that's one way where I still have that like kind of protection around me, where I'm able to have my account and still build a business and do the things that I want to do with it. So I just want to kind of like preface that in the background. So, two things I want to talk about specifically with making posts, because I see a lot of people, maybe you're just sharing what your supplier is putting out there and you're sharing deals or you're sharing other things, or everything is kind of a sales post. The shift that I would like to encourage you to make on social media is by providing posts, and I shared about this on my Monday episode on my podcast that's coming up, that are educational, sharing posts that are entertaining, sharing posts that are going to connect you with other people, and sharing posts that are engaging, where you're like asking a question or asking for feedback about something. So I'm going to give you two different examples here. I personally focus on selling Disney and cruising. So I wanted to give you a Disney example, and I wanted to give you a cruising example. So I'm going to give you a second while you read these. And these would be examples of a curiosity-driven post. Storytelling's on the next page. So curiosity-driven post. So stop talking so you can read. And I put answers down there in bold in case you did not know. Also, Genie Plus, I just realized, is outdated. I need to take that off because it's just lightning lane now. But these are ways where when people are scrolling, we're not sharing a picture that has been shared by Disney a million times. We're not sharing the same wording that every other Disney specialist is sharing. This is something that like you're coming up with, that you are positioning yourself as an expert as you're sharing these, right? Definitely. We are mentioning in here, like this cruise example on the right, about saving money. We're mentioning in here for Disney, because one of the things that might be an objection for Disney is about having to rope drop or about the really long lines and things like that. So we're mentioning here we're an expert and we have a way to go around them. And we're also then at the bottom want to know what it is. So we're like putting a call to action. We're kind of egging people on, and we're telling them what to do. Drop this emoji in the comments and I'll DM you. We are not putting the answer to this in the comments. We are doing that so that we can slide into people's DMs and start some conversations. Now, we're not necessarily selling in either of these, and we're not necessarily selling in the conversations. Unless it kind of naturally goes that way and someone's like, oh my gosh, I want to plan a Disney trip. I'm so glad you posted this. How can we work together? But these are also good ways too to remind our audience that we are travel agents and that we are able to help them with these things. Any questions about a curiosity driven post? I don't like to make these too long. These are almost borderline too long, to my liking. But what I would also do with both of these is put a picture. I would put a picture of me at Disney or maybe even like me in a bed because this is not waking up at 7 a.m. with like my little eye mask on, right? Something to catch people's scroll. Over here, same deal. Something of me on a cruise, or if I haven't been on a cruise recently, it's talking about saving money. Maybe it's me holding some money. Like we don't have to get in our heads about like one other thing that I've heard from some, especially newer agents, maybe you haven't had a chance to travel lately. Like, or maybe you really want to be a cruise expert, but you've never taken a cruise. It's okay. You can take the training, just by taking the training, you're going to know more than other people, right? We have YouTube at our disposal. We have communities where we can ask questions at our disposal. So you can still be an expert at something without having done it. Now, I do think, once you've done it, it makes makes it a lot easier. But if you don't have pictures for these types of content, I just gave you examples that you can do at home without having traveled to those recently. Um, let's see, I have heard mixed things on hashtags. Yeah, hashtags, they're not searchable anymore on Instagram. Like I just heard that. I mean, they've said that for a while, but I was just listening to an Instagram what's it called? Podcast about them. They are not necessarily searchable, but they are things that people are trained to see. So I still put them on. I also still put them on TikTok because they are usable on TikTok. So yes, that's going to depend on where you're posting those. GTY is guaranteed rates. I do engage. No one comments ever. No one comments on your posts, Melanie? Yes. Okay, here's some tricks on that too. We all in our networks have people that I like to call your dirt people. And your dirt people are the people who would buy dirt from you. Yes. And I don't mean that seriously, but you have like my sister when I very first got started. I pointed because she's like sitting over here. My poor sister got nudged and still sometimes gets nudged to comment on my things. My best friends, same deal. My coworker, I have like one coworker who I talk business stuff with. The other ones I try, very carefully not to do that. But I have one coworker who I'm like, hey, I'm making a post about Disney. She's never been to Disney. You know what? She'll comment on every single thing. And if you get some of those people, maybe it's a fellow travel agent, maybe it's someone on this call, maybe it's someone on your team. Um, Even if you have 3 or 4 people starting to comment, it will start taking off. The other thing with that, just because people aren't engaging doesn't mean they're not seeing your stuff. So it's almost like you got to put your blinders on and ignore the fact that people are or are not listening. Now, the other thing with this isn't necessarily an engagement post. This is more of a curiosity driven post, and you're kind of like seeing who's dropping their hand up that they're interested. These posts may or may not get a ton of engagement on them. I'm going to talk more about engagement in a little bit, some engagement post starters. For me, the way that I get people started doing engagement a lot of times has nothing to do with my business. So like I make a post, one that gets a ton of engagement all the time that I feel like I post every year at some point is, okay, what brand of shoes are you wearing right now? I need something really comfy that I can wear in school and at the Disney parks. What you got? You would not believe the people who have opinions about shoes. So if you have not had engagement on your Facebook in a while, please post that post tonight. Like you can post it right out and see what people are saying because everyone has an opinion. And I know too, when I see that question up on people, I have a very strong opinion right now, right? Um, Mary, never taken a cruise and haven't been to Disney in 21 years. You could still post these things though, right, Mary? Like even without, especially if you know the answer down below. And guys, if you didn't know the answer, because I pulled a little like Google with this earlier to see what Google said, Google gave me these answers. Like I knew these answers, but Google gave me these answers as well and can explain some of these things. So this is something that we can find. Now, the next slide is going to be some storytelling ideas. Okay, these get kind of long. These can definitely be longer. I'm going to give you a second just to quickly skim. Left examples cruise, right is Disney. Okay, so you get the idea, right? Feel free to screenshot these as well, um, just to have for future reference. These can be long, these can be short. The purpose of these, we're pulling at people's heartstrings a little bit, right? We're making people see themselves in the trip. Like especially with this one on Disney, like could you feel yourself in that? Like I could feel myself in that. Like even just now, like reading it again, like you can feel the mom texting you a photo and this little girl clutching her bubble wand, those sorts of things. It doesn't have to be this intricate of a story. It could just be, I helped a family plan their first trip to Disney for February. It was a multi-generational trip. The client didn't text me the whole week. I thought maybe something was wrong. She texted me the day after she got home with, 8 or 9 pictures of her family, said they had had the best trip ever. They can't wait to go back. And that I had made this experience so easy for them. This is why I love doing what I do. That could be your post. Always ask for permission if you're going to share clients' pictures, obviously. And then, you can also offer to like blur out the people's faces or the kids' faces or things like that. Um, or you could just find a stock photo of a family at Disney and share it out. But these are the things that, when that tired mom is coming home from work and she wants to plan that vacation and she's scrolling and she sees this and she's like, oh my gosh, I really need to reach out to Lindsay. Like, I want that with my kid. So think of these stories where you can get people to say, like, I want that with my family that you can share. And then we're putting in here, it can be like what I shared, like, this is why I love doing what I do. It can be a more indirect call to action that way, or it can be more direct call to action. But storytelling and these curiosity driven posts, peppering these in your content is going to make a big difference in connecting with people even quicker. If you did not know, it used to be that people had to see your content 7 times before they decided to work with you. Anyone know what that number is now? Or anybody want to guess? Give everyone a second. 23, good guess. It's higher. 10, higher. 77. The internet is so saturated now. People have to see your post 77 times before they trust you to work with you, which is insane. And it also can seem really overwhelming. But I am sharing that. One, you can't post enough. um, Two, stay consistent and keep going with it. And three, some of this takes time. Now, will you have people when they immediately meet you and they're like, I'm going to work with you? Yes. We love those people, usually. Um, but there will also be people who have been watching you and will continue to be watching you for months and maybe years before they raise their hand and decide to work with you. It's just the name of the game now. especially with the economy the way it is. So 77 times. Okay. But the storytelling will help make that go quicker. All right, some engagement tactics. I already shared like the poll idea. Well, I asked people's opinions on shoes. You can also ask like a poll. If you were to spend, so if you want to try to do it travel related, if you were to spend 5 days in Orlando, would you rather spend them all at Universal, at Disney World, or split them up and see what people say? But you're not selling, right? You're not mentioning you're a travel agent. You're not mentioning other things. You're polling people, and then the people who answer in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, these are people I'm going to start engaging with, or kind of like keeping on my radar that they, even know what the amusement parks are in Orlando. Your stories. Stories is a huge one. So this is almost like kind of my trick with stories or trick with engaging is, and I used to be very detailed or not detailed, disciplined with this, where I would like set a timer and I would go up to your stories at the top of your Instagram or Facebook, and I would click on people's stories, watch a few of them. And if they're posting personal things, which a lot of people are, right? They're sharing, what they're eating, they're sharing that they're going into the gym, they're walking outside, maybe they're packing their work story or whatever. And then I comment, there's like a place on them where you can send them a message. I comment something about it. Nothing to do with sales, usually nothing to do with travel. But I'm just making genuine connections with people. If someone's out and saying they're going for their walk and they're doing 30 days of walking a mile a day, I might be like, you go, girl. And then I slide to the next one and I watch that one. And she's like typing her food and cooking her food. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. What is that? Next one. This girl's drinking her water. Thanks for the reminder. I need to drink more water. Next one. Right. So I'm not saying to do this like quick without like feeling an emotion. It's just that I've gotten really good at doing this and interacting with people. You would be surprised how many awesome connections and friendships I have made and restored just from staying in touch with people through the stories. So the stories are there. They're right in the top and center on your app for a reason because the app is favoring people who are engaging in stories. So use them to engage with other people. But then on the flip side, make sure you are using them as well. So even if it's a story a day, or heck, if you never do stories, a story every other day, you can do it where you press and hold and you record yourself talking. And I just gave you some ideas. If you don't want to share work stuff, what are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you wearing? What'd you get in the mail today? What's your Target haul? What's your Trader Joe's haul? What's some funny thing that your dog is doing right now? Share these things so that people get to know, like, and trust you even quicker. And you can do that in the stories. And then the last thing with engagement is DMs. So I just shared a way you can slide into people's DMs in your stories. But also DMing people, maybe they make a post about something and you want to respond to them privately. Like the shoe example, maybe I would say on someone's, I love my on clouds. I'm going to DM you which ones I like. And then I'll go to their DMs and say, hey, I have these two kinds. And I might even put the link for them. And you're just like, you're giving value, you're connecting with people, and you might have a nice conversation with that person. Then what's going to happen is the next time you post, hopefully what you are posting is going to show up top and center in their newsfeed, right? So these engagement tactics, guys, it's going to help your stuff get pushed out. Hopefully it's going to help these people start interacting with you more because you're interacting with them more. Now, if you're DMing people and you are commenting on their stories and you're commenting on their posts and they're just like blatantly ignoring you, they're probably not your people. Like we can stop doing that for a while or we can take a little break, right? We don't want to go crazy and send someone like 25 messages about like 10 different things in the next day. We're spacing this out a little bit. We're being strategic about it. But these are really great ways to connect with people and to build that trust. Okay, before we move on to email marketing, feel free to go ahead and drop your social media questions because I know you probably have some in the chat right now. And I'm going to go ahead and start on email marketing just due to time because we're already at 7:30 because social media just has so much to it. The other thing I will say before we dive into email marketing, when I gave you some of these examples, these are very easily like almost like scripts that you could talk into a reel, a TikTok, a YouTube short as well, right? So I don't want you to think like these have to be an actual post. You can turn these into carousels. We can do all sorts of things with these. Okay, I'm gonna grab a drink of water really quick. I'd love to know too, who already has an email list? Does anyone already have a list? Is anyone already collecting emails? And does anyone actually use the email list? Since we have some newer agents on here, I'm assuming that a lot of people either don't have one yet or maybe you're not consistently using it. Totally fine. So I don't want you to hear this and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. No, you're definitely not. The thing that I love about an email list, though, is a couple things. Um, One, you own it. So, if Instagram goes down, if Facebook goes down, TikTok goes away, whatever, we have email lists. We still have a way to connect with people. Also, email lists, as this slide says, is one of the highest converting tools for any industry, but for travel agents, this depends on who you see the stats from. I saw anywhere from 36 to 42. So I put 40. 40 times more effective at selling than social media, meaning someone is 40 times more likely to book from you from getting an email from you versus social media. Now, as I said at the very beginning, I think having a good mix of all three of these strategies is really going to be like the best bang for your buck. Um, I also think email, a lot of people get in their head about email. I have a mastermind that meets on Monday nights, and we were just talking about this with one of our mastermind clients on the call. And she was thinking that she needed all these email sequences and it needed to be super complicated. And I'm like, we just start easy. We start simple, we start small, but we do this to keep top of mind with our people. Because think about it, email goes directly for most people to your phone, right? Usually you're checking your email from your phone. And if not, I believe the stat is that Americans check their email at least 7 times a day. Not everyone checks Facebook 7 times a day or Instagram 7 times a day or whatever. And even if they do, they're not necessarily seeing your thing front and center, right? They're not necessarily seeing your name and your message in their wall. Right, I want to see about email list. Working on it, working on it. Okay. All right. I will address some of these other questions at the end. All right. So I'm going to give you a simple email equation here. Screenshot this or write this down. A simple email equation is, well, first of all, you do like a greeting. So if you're on my email list, which I think you all probably are now, you'll see I send a Monday email and I usually say, hey, girl, but I always say, hey, in your name. And I always say, happy Monday. And then I give a little story about something that's going on in my life. This is what I did this past weekend. So, for me, I also try to squeeze in there things about travel. So that will be very good for you as well because you're also a travel agent. So I share a story. I add some kind of value. And then I do a singular call to action. Now, I can get guilty of doing multiple call to action, and just that's how I work. But this is the simple email equation, right? One story, one nugget of value, one call to action. Give people a reason to read your emails. So I want you to think about emails that you open. This is what helps me the most. Think about emails that you open. Why do you open them? And if you're really conscious of this, and I know there are certain people when their name pops up in my inbox, I am always opening that email, right? They might be selling to me every time, but like I open it for some reason. And why is that? They're either sharing something really juicy. I want to see what kind of story they're sharing, or I know that what this email is giving a ton of tips and value. Like I really like James Clear. I don't know if you've read his habits book, Atomic Habits, I believe is the name of it. And he sends out an email. He calls it 321, and it's different tips. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty boring email. Do I open it every week though? Yes, I do, because I love those tips because they are such great reminders of me for me as an entrepreneur and for some like mindset work of habits and like tweaks that I can make in my mood and in my day. And I always open it. So he is doing the value part. His story's a little boring, not gonna lie. Value, very good though. And his call to action in that email is always the same. If you enjoyed this email, will you forward it to a friend? And have I forwarded it to a friend? Absolutely. So think of that. I want you to kind of think of this. This is like maybe part of your homework. Think of the people whose emails you always open. What do they do in them? What incentivizes you to open and keep coming back? And then I want you to think about you and your brand and your people. What could you do? So you guys were all telling me your specialties at the beginning of this. So I saw like an all-inclusive, for example. So maybe your piece of value, because most all-inclusives are not in the United States, maybe your piece of value is you're really focusing on helping the new international traveler. So maybe your value coming up is for your next email is about passport requirements or how you can easily get a passport. And maybe one week it is about the current passport turnaround times. Maybe one week it's about prohibited items that you can't bring into Mexico. Would you believe the number of people I saw bringing vapes into Mexico, even though it's illegal? Like I can't even. So, things like that. So pieces of value. And then a little quick story. This story, friend, can be a story about your trip that you took to an all-inclusive the first time you ever went when you were 16 with your family. It does not have to be recent. Maybe it's a story that you read on someone else's page and you get permission to share. Maybe you're sharing about someone else's trip. That's totally fine. Maybe your story too. I don't know about you, but I'm signed up for a lot of different like travel agent news, like online magazines and all kinds of, blurbs I get. Mary shaking her head. Yes, she gets them too. So there's always stories in those. There's always something that you can share of value. Just quote the place that you get it from. And then the call to action. A call to action could be, are you ready to book your next vacation? Reply to this email. Let's get you started. It doesn't have to even be links to things. You don't have to include your quote. Make it really clear. I like to even bold my call to actions a lot of times if I remember, to make it clear what we want people to do. But if you follow this, I promise you will get people opening your emails. You will get some responses to your emails, and you will get more people on your email list. Now, another thing with emails, we want the subject line to be kind of catchy, right? So I'm going to put some 5 ideas up here. I put CTAs. I guess these weren't really, kind of CTAs, um, which CTA stands for call to action. So like, let me plan your stress-free escape. That would be kind of like a call to action. Let's make your magic happen. That's kind of a call to action. But if you want to screenshot these are just some fun example subject lines. I like to put emojis in them when I can because I feel like it helps it stand out. Um, these are really easy to play around with, come up with. Um, just make sure it matches what's actually going on in your email. Okay. We're not gonna spend a lot more time because like I said, I want to give time for some questions at the end with email. But I just want email to be something that you're thinking of that is very doable for you to do and to get started. And it doesn't have to be something that's so scary. Like I said, you can start off with doing this one email, a month would be great to get started. Just something consistently where you are staying top of mind. All right, strategy 3, leveraging referrals and partnerships. I would love to hear in the chat just super quickly. Are you already getting referrals from either previous clients, people who know you're a travel agent and they pass your name along? So you can just say yes or no. Yes. 90% of business is referrals. Great. No. All right. Yes. Okay, so let's talk some best practices with this. I put here why referrals are your best free lead generation strategy. I do believe that because usually, not always, usually it is easier to get someone to book with you again than find someone new. Okay. It's also usually quicker to turn around from when you're meeting someone for the first time and getting them to work from you if you are also being recommended by someone that they know and trust as well. So are there three other, there's 4. Sorry, my thing's like blocking. I need to move this up a little. Okay. 4 strategies for making sure you get referrals. 1, provide outstanding service, especially from the get-go. Go above and beyond for your clients as best you can. I know we're all human, things slip through the cracks or we have that intention to send the card before they go and we forget. But as much as we possibly can, provide that outstanding service. And this doesn't have to cost you money. This can be a quick check-in. This can be a quick check-in while they're there. This, definitely is a follow-up when they get home. How was your trip? What did you love? What did you not love? The follow-up email after a trip is a really great time too to ask for like a review. So if they can type out a review, then you can use that in your marketing. And then keeping front of mind. So front of mind is by showing up via email and by social, which we already talked about earlier tonight. But it's also making sure that you're following up. I think my follow-up is set up like 2 or 3 days after they come home because I have my emails automated. I think I have a 3 month follow-up, a 6 month follow-up, and a year out follow-up. And they're pretty short emails, and they're basically like, is it time to plan your next trip yet? I would love to um, help you when it is time to plan that again. Basically like remember me. I can't remember my exact wording, but that's basically what it is. But also in all of these, I remind people, and I'm trying to think of how I word it, but like a referral is the highest form of flattery for my business. Like I would be honored if you would refer me to your friends and family who would either be a good fit with me or that they are getting ready to travel soon. We have to ask. We have to remind people because it's not their job to remember that we're a travel agent. It's the other way around, right? It's our job to remind people that we can serve them and that we can help them in all the ways that we can do that. Okay, so that's referrals. Last piece of this that I want to talk about with like networking, I call this collaborations. I'm going to say collaboration slash networking is to not underestimate the power of in-person connections. This can be collaborations to build relationships with people that complement our industry. So I'm not talking other travel agents, right? Unless, for example, Mary decides she's only booking adult only trips and Brandy is like, I only am doing families with kids. You guys could collaborate because there's not going to be like overlap right now, right? As long as you're both like sticking to that and like Brandy's not going to be like, well, I could do that for you. Let me do that for you. Like, right. So that's why I'm saying complimentary because if you go with a wedding planner and you're collaborating with them, they're not going to take your clients and book their travel, right? So think of these collaborations that work really nicely. So wedding planner, anyone in the wedding space, because you're planning honeymoons for people, and a honeymoon will then hopefully turn into an anniversary trip and family trips down the road and things like that. Wedding planners, think other influencers. Think of your friends who are out there hustling and selling their makeup and selling clothes. Like my sister designs Disney inspired clothing. So we collaborate a lot with things because, she gets people who want to go to Disney. And I'm like, I can help you with that. And I get people going to Disney. And one of my emails that I send is actually like, what should you wear on your trip? And I send them Disney, recommendations and links linking to her store, and it works out really nicely. So what sort of collaboration can you kind of do with other people like that? Like this is your chance to be creative, to put yourself out there and ask people. The worst they're gonna say is no, right? But go into this with like a clear, like, for example, if I was pitching my sister uh for that collaboration, I might say, well, obviously, if I'm pretending she's not my sister, but I might send, her an email or a DM and say, hey, I'm Lindsay. I'm a Disney travel agent. I came up with this really fun idea in a way that we could collaborate that would benefit both of us because you want to tell them how it, why it's in them, why it's good for them too. And the my idea is that I will mention your links in my email to all my Disney clients. I will also include it on my website or whatever you want to decide to do. And in turn, if you have people coming to you, maybe you're gonna put that I'm your preferred travel agency in the footer of your emails, or maybe we'll do a reel together, or things like, like let the creativity fly. And don't say too much. Like, we're not word vomiting here. See what she says and say, I would love to chat more about what this could look like, right? That's just an example of how you can get this started. This is another really great way to grow your audience, to grow your following, especially if you decide you want to do like a live together or a post where both of you are tagged, a giveaway. Giveaways are really fun things to do too, but make sure that it is with people, again, who are complimentary, who, their values match yours. Like you know what that means. I'm not going to have to give examples for that. And just some other businesses, because as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, I don't know, well, I guess I don't know a single business who is successful who would say no to this if it would work for both of you, right? If there was nothing that they had to do extra or whatever. So I would like to know before we start wrapping this up, what's one idea? Like who's one person or what type of person could you collaborate with? Drop an example. Drop an idea. Looking at the time. Whew, I did a lot of talking, friends. Okay, I don't know where my chat button went now because oh, here it is. Here. Okay, I found it. Travel sports clubs. Ooh, that's a good one. And that's something else too that groups. If group travel doesn't intimidate you, what sororities, what fraternities, what like you said, those sports travel clubs, who can you hook up with to plan group trips, to reach out? Yeah, Jackie, finding influencers, just look on your Instagram, look on your Facebook, look who's out there. And I say influencer very broadly. Like I call my sister an influencer. I don't know if she would call herself an influencer, but the people who they have a following, they're showing up already on social. Like you don't want to collaborate with someone who hasn't made a post in 10 months. That probably is not going to be good collaboration. I was going to say travel sports clubs. I've booked several for one locally, referred from work. There you go. I would love to get some group trips. I've tried to reach out to pickleball places. Jackie, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Reaching out, to equine. There, like lots of people goes to horse shows. Like there's all sorts of groups that you can reach out to in your community, for sure. Okay. So, to recap, tonight we talked about social media, posting, and engagement. Really, the engagement is a very huge thing. Has been my like I feel like the posts are to kind of start the conversation rolling, but the engagement is where you're gonna really start seeing the magic. Email marketing, and then referral strategies. And then up here's from my last shout out. These ladies were at my second to last retreat in Orlando. It was really fun. Um, Okay, so next steps. I meant to say this at the beginning and then I lost track. But I do have a way that you can work with me if you want to. Mary has already witnessed this, I don't know, joined this. So she maybe can speak to it. I guess I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I'm going to share in just a second something really cool that I created that I think is going to blow your mind. But 63% of marketers rank lead generation as their number one marketing challenge, according to the Demand Gen report. But it doesn't have to be yours. And I hope you really feel that after tonight with some of these strategies. Maybe it's just slight tweaks that you're going to make moving forward that can really change this for you. Okay, so now that you know it works, imagine if you had all the tools and content ready to go every month. How much time and energy would that save you? And my answer is going to be a lot. Speaking from experience, a lot. And this is what I made. It is called the Travel Agent Marketing Studio. It is officially live. Mary's giving it all the hearts. I had Mary be like my beta, and I was like, please give me some feedback. She's like, I have no feedback. It's amazing. So what it is, I'm going to try to explain it, but I have a video on my webpage that you can watch that explains it much better than I'm probably verbally explaining it right now. But there is a social media marketing studio. So if you're like, Lindsay, social media, like I could care less about email marketing right now. I really want to improve my social media. There's the social media marketing studio, and then there is an email marketing studio, or there is the complete marketing studio that gets both of them, plus the ability to create your own lead magnets and collect emails. So basically, it uses AI. I'm going to explain it like super roughly. It uses AI. You can type in what you want it to create. It creates it for you. It is beautiful. You can change the colors. You can write things in and change words that you want. So you can create ebooks, checklists, packing lists, literally pretty much any digital product that you want. You could even put a price on it if you want. So if this is something that you want to charge for down the road, you could do that. And then you can click a button and it creates your web page for you that you will get a link to. complete with the forms for people to fill out and everything. And then you promote that. You send that out to people, you post it on your social media, you share it. Maybe you do a freebie swap with people. And people sign up for it and then you get their emails. So it's pretty crazy. So you definitely need to check it out. You definitely need to watch the videos. So there's 3 levels, like I mentioned. The social media marketing studio is 27. The email marketing studio is 27. The complete one is 57. But in the next 2 days, you can become a founder and you get 10% off any of them that you want with code workshop. So take a screenshot of that. Workshop is all caps. This will be in the email that I'm sending out at 8 o'clock as well. So if you, for some reason, like write it down wrong or whatever, or definitely go in and check it out and see what you get. Because I don't want to spend time going over that. I want to answer all of your questions. But for example, with this social media marketing studio, with all of it, you're going to fill out a Google form about your business, who you want to attract, what you want to sell that month. And every month you are going to get content written for you, sent to you. And part of the content is engagement prompts, which I'm really excited about because they're really awesome. And then for email marketing, you get emails and a blog sent to you every month. So say you want to really promote Disney for the summer months and people's summer travel, you can fill all that out. And then I send you content within 2 days of filling it out. Just give me 2 days. It'll probably be quicker, but give me 2 days. And then the same thing for email. So, say in November you want to talk about Christmas cruises, which November would be too late. Don't wait till November. Then you can fill out that email or fill out that form. I send you emails ready to go. And then same thing with the marketing studio. But one thing I didn't mention with the complete studio is you also get the ability to use AI to create as much content as you want. And there's extra stuff. There's like TikToks and reels and or ideas. And there's just watch the video. Just watch the video because like I said, I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about it. But this is really going to change the game for content for travel agents. So check that out. And now it's time for Q&A. So feel free to, I'll leave that up there in case you want it. Feel free to come off mute. Feel free, drop questions in the chat. I'm going to go back to the chat. That's a price per month, Jackie. I don't have an annual price up quite yet. When I do that, I will let you guys know, but it is a price per month. Let me go back to questions. Okay, I answered how do you find influencers? How do you go about asking for emails? Well, that's a good question, Melanie. One other thing that I wanted to say about the Complete Marketing Studio, it also gets access to my training vault that will go over things like how do you get emails, how do you set up email list, all this like past trainings that I've done in the past 6 years of being an entrepreneur are all in there, plus some extra templates with the Complete Studio. But one thing you can do is just ask, like say, hey, make a post. Hey, I'm starting a travel newsletter that I'm going to be sending out 1 email a month or 2 emails a month or whatever. If you want to stay on top of cruising, international travel, whatever your specialty is, and travel deals, drop your email below, or a lot of people don't like to drop their email, like say, drop an emoji and I'll reach out to you. That's the easiest, most basic way to do it. The other way is to join the Complete Marketing Studio. Make your beautiful, I'm actually just going to show you really quick what I mean since I have the page up. Make your lead magnet. Wait here. And then you can post it. So this is the Complete Marketing Studio backend. This is kind of what it looks like. You can see that, right? Where it says, what do you want to work on today? Okay. The digital product, this is like your freebie. Your offer page is your landing page. And then this is where you can make content if you want. I made one of my things that I made was a cruise packing list on here. And like I said, my internet's kind of slow. So just give it a second. I'm like, maybe. I'm just trying to get the link. Okay, give me my link. So I made this. It took me like 3 minutes on AI to make. And I just want to show you what this is what the landing page looks like that AI came up with. Like I didn't tweak anything on here. except I put my picture there instead of the AI picture. And so this would be the page. I would get the URL right here. I would get the URL to share it. And that would be the page I would share out on my social. So like publish my email website. So the sales page right here, I would copy it. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. And this is what I would like share to people. So I would make a post, and I would make a post about packing for your next cruise. Find out your essential items to pack for your next vacation. And I would say, like, if you want it, I would do one of two things. I would either say drop an emoji below and I'll send it to you, and then I would send them this link, or I would put this link like in the comments section. And then this is what they would come to. It looks so professional. They just need to fill it out. And then once they get it filled out, let me go back. Their info is going to be right here where it says your list. And you can see I haven't like publicly promoted any of mine. And this is their info. So then you have their email saved here so that you can send them emails then. So this is an example. I'm going to show you since we're on here, and I have just like a second. Oh, wait. No. Well, maybe I'm not going to show you. Okay. I'm apparently not going to show you. But this is where you would go to create the copy packs. Oh, here we go. So what I mean by copy packs is this is different types of content. So you would go in here and tell what you are. So I said I'm a Disney travel agency specializing in Disney cruising, who I talk to families and couples who are adults traveling without kids. Then I can come down here and pick what I want. So I'm looking specifically at social content first. And you can just, you want memes, you want reels or TikTok, you want identity posts, meme packs, post per platform. I actually really like post per platform. You can click different business branding. If you don't know what your business brand is, this can help you figure that out. Different website, blog post ideas, email marketing, products. If you want to start making products for your business to sell, video scripts. Like let's do a tip and teach reel outline too. And then you click take me to my copy. And we're adding new things to this all the time. The power of AI, right? And then once they're loaded here, I already have this one loaded. This one is the Reels or TikTok calendar. So this is Reels, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, feature a spotlight on Disney's private island, Castaway Cay, highlighting incredible shore excursions. So these are just meant to like give you ideas, give you some nice tips. And the thing that I love about this is you can go in and, tweak any of it, make it your own. 5 magical steps to plan your dream Disney cruise. And then what was the other one? Viral hooks, description. So there's all kinds of stuff. So I could go down a rabbit hole. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with this. This is not the goal. But here I'm going to go ahead and stop share so I can see your beautiful faces. But that's some of the stuff that you can do. Jackie, if you do the social media plan or you do the email marketing plan, I am creating it for you. If you do the complete one, I'm still creating it for you, but you also have the ability because you'll have a login to go in and create your own as well. So it's like unlimited. You can create everything that you want. If there's a month we don't need something, then we don't pay. You can cancel. Yeah, you can cancel. If you cancel, you'll lose access to everything, but yes, you can cancel at any time. How do you feel about paid ads? I'm going to say nay. And here's why I'm going to say nay is from every ads expert. Now, I have run ads for my own business. Like I ran ads for tonight, just to be completely transparent. I have not ran ads for my travel business. The thing that I have always been told by ads experts is don't run ads until you have your organic marketing completely down pat. Like you've got it down. People are engaging with your stuff. Basically, you're booked out and it's time to go to the next level. That has kind of always been what I have heard about ads. I know Mary is nodding. I think she's maybe heard the same. Now you can always play around with it. I will say the ads manager is a lot more complicated than it used to be. It took me way too long to run them before this workshop. And I'm going to be honest, maybe if you guys saw one of my ads, I still didn't have it click into the right place. It was clicking to my links and I had no idea how to change it. So they're a whole other ball game. Now I will say I looked, um, I got way more impressions on my ads than I ever have in the past. So I don't think ads are bad. I just don't know that for travel with the type of service we're providing, that that's going to be beneficial for you. Now, if you decide to come out with an ultimate cruise packing list and you want to sell it for $7, sure, run ads to it. Play around with that and see. Okay, let me see if I missed any other questions.
No, but I need to interrupt you for just a moment, Lindsay.
Go for
I
it.
absolutely love the social media and the emails. I
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. Uh,
like seriously, you hit every nail that I needed hit on the head with it. So,
I'm so
I'm
glad.
subscribing for life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, and I just know like when I saw the capabilities of what this could do and specifically for the travel agent industry, um, because I've been in it in a while and I have spoken to a lot of people and I've seen a lot of people do really well and I've seen a lot of people get frustrated who are great travel agents and give up because they weren't getting, in front of the right people. And I'm like, this can save so much time and energy. Um, to hopefully help you do those things and achieve those things that you want and you deserve in your business. So I'm so glad to hear that, Mary.
I'm all about outsourcing my needs for my businesses. So
Yeah,
definitely
multiple.
this frees up so much time for me, you guys. Like no joke. I run two businesses, so having another auto generation for things, it just frees up everything for me. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And no, I did not pay her to say that. She is not one of the dirt people I was referring to earlier, just in case you were wondering. But we love Mary.
No, I am not. I've worked with Lindsay for a while now, but I am not paid to advertise for Lindsay. So I am a serious Lindsay has helped me so much with my businesses. So
Well, thank you.
definitely.
Loved doing it, girl. Loved doing it. All right, friends. Well, if you don't have any more questions, I'm gonna hop off here. Please connect with me on social. Send me a friend request. Like I said, I'm pretty much an open book about things. I don't mind sharing, the behind the scenes and what's working for me and what isn't. These are the three strategies, the social media strategies, the email strategy, and really the networking and the collaboration piece that has really allowed me to run my business while also working full time doing something else. But also have the success that I've wanted and really built the business that I really, really love. And I hope this helped you to hopefully do the same. Thank you for your time and attention, friends, and have a great rest of the week. And that code is good for 2 more days. Bye bye.